Hello, it's me, Oscar from Marijuana Garden.
Leonardo da Vinci's scientific works weren't published books or papers in the modern sense, but rather thousands of pages of detailed notes, sketches, diagrams, and observations scattered across numerous notebooks or codices. He explored an astonishing range of scientific fields, honestly, centuries ahead of his time. Selecting a definitive top 10 is challenging, but here are 10 of his most significant and groundbreaking scientific investigations, often blending multiple disciplines. First, human anatomy studies around the years 1507 to 1513. Leonardo focused on systematic dissection and drawing of human bodies, muscles, bones, organs, nerves, and the vascular system. The significance? He produced incredibly accurate and detailed anatomical drawings, far surpassing any before. He correctly described the heart's valves and function, actually predicting circulation, and he studied embryology, the brain's ventricles, the spine's curvature, and the mechanics of movement. His work laid crucial groundwork for modern anatomy, though it was largely unpublished in his lifetime. Next, studies of flight, or aeronautics, roughly between 1485 and 1515. Leonardo focused on bird flight mechanics, the properties of air, and designs for flying machines like ornithopters, helicopters or air screws, parachutes, and gliders. The significance here is huge. He was the first to seriously investigate the possibility of human flight from a scientific perspective. He correctly identified principles like lift, drag, and the center of gravity. While his machines weren't buildable with the materials available at the time, his conceptual designs and understanding of aerodynamics were truly revolutionary. Third, hydraulics and hydrodynamics, which Leonardo explored throughout his career. He focused on the movement of water, currents, vortices, waves, along with erosion, river management, canal design, hydraulic machinery, and the principle of continuity in fluid flow, the significance. He made fundamental observations about how fluids behave. His designs for locks, sluices, and dredging machines were not only practical but also quite advanced. His understanding of water's power and movement was profound, and honestly, it was applied in both his engineering and his art. So, let's talk about the proportions of the human body, famously captured in the Vitruvian Man around 1490. Leonardo was really focused on illustrating the ideal human proportions described by the Roman architect Vitruvius, and relating the human form to geometric perfection, think circle and square. This single iconic drawing just embodies that Renaissance fusion of art, science, mathematics, and philosophy. It represents Leonardo's deep interest in understanding universal order, proportion, and, well, the human body's relationship to geometry. Now, moving on to mechanics and engineering principles. Leonardo really analyzed forces, friction, gears, bearings, screws, levers, pulleys, and springs. He designed countless machines, cranes, bridges, textile machines, automated devices, and even weapons like tanks and cannons. The significance here is that he systematically studied and applied fundamental mechanical principles. His notebooks are just packed with innovative machine designs, often automating processes or solving specific engineering problems. Honestly, he laid the groundwork for modern mechanical engineering. Next up is geology and paleontology, roughly between 1500 and 1510. Leonardo focused on observing rock strata, fossils, especially marine fossils found inland or in mountains, erosion, water's role in shaping landscapes, and the Earth's time scale. The real significance is that he correctly interpreted fossils as remains of ancient life, which challenged the biblical timelines of his day. He understood the immense time required for geological processes like mountain formation and erosion, actually predating modern geology by centuries. So, throughout his career, he really focused on the nature of light perspective, both linear and aerial, the camera obscura, and, well, the anatomy and function of the eye, including binocular vision shadows and color theory. What's truly significant is how deeply he explored the way light interacts with surfaces and the eye to actually create vision. His mastery of perspective, honestly, revolutionized painting. And his studies on the eye were anatomical marvels, even if some of his theories on vision, like thinking the lens was the seat of vision, were later refined. Around the years 1508 to 1515, he turned his attention to botanical studies. He focused on, detailed observation of plant structure, growth patterns, like phyllotaxy, which is the arrangement of leaves, root systems, sap flow, and the effects of light and gravity, making incredibly accurate drawings of flowers and trees. The significance here is that he really pioneered accurate botanical illustration, aiming for scientific understanding rather than just decoration. He identified fundamental growth patterns and structures with remarkable precision, and honestly, that contributed to the very foundations of botany. Between about 1484 and 1486, he designed plans for an ideal city. He focused on urban planning that incorporated sanitation, like canalized waterways for waste removal, multi-level traffic flow separating pedestrians from carts, ventilation, public spaces, and architectural harmony. The significance? Well, it was a visionary response to the plague-ridden, congested medieval cities. His design integrated engineering, hydraulics and architecture, public health principles, and social planning into a holistic, scientifically informed vision that was far ahead of its time, even though it was never actually built. So, studies of the heart and blood flow around the years 1511 to 1513 really marked a turning point. There was this deep focus on detailed dissections and wax castings of the heart, with careful studies of the valves, especially the aortic valve, along with blood flow dynamics and pulse waves. These were honestly some of the most advanced cardiac studies before the 17th century. He actually described the function of the aortic valve as a passive one-way mechanism driven by vortices, which is just remarkable. And while he came very close to understanding circulation, he didn't quite grasp the full systemic and pulmonary loop. Still, he meticulously documented the heart's structure and its motion in ways that were just, way ahead of his time. Now, here's something really important to keep in mind. Almost none of this was published during his lifetime. The influence of his work only started to emerge much later, as his notebooks were gradually discovered and studied. It's kind of amazing to think about how much knowledge was hidden away for so long, isn't it? So, Leonardo really saw no hard boundaries between disciplines. His anatomical studies informed mechanics, what we might now call biomechanics, while his work in optics influenced his art. And, his understanding of hydraulics shaped his approach to engineering. He had this remarkable ability to blend meticulous empirical observation with bold theoretical leaps. Sometimes he got things right, sometimes his ideas were more speculative. But honestly, that mix of careful observation and daring theory was pretty unique. Leonardo's scientific investigations were, without a doubt, deeply intertwined with his artistic practice. His art demanded a solid scientific understanding, and his science, in turn, was often expressed through masterful drawing. These 10 areas, I think, really showcase the breathtaking breadth and depth of Leonardo's scientific curiosity and genius, and, they truly cement his place as one of history's greatest polymaths.
Thank you.